According to a shocking new poll from the Hill and Harris X, 64% of registered Republicans in this country say they would actually be willing to leave the Republican Party and go join whatever weird political party Donald Trump is thinking about maybe starting. 64%. 32% said they would be extremely likely to do so. The other 32% said they would be likely to do so. So there's, varying degrees of likelihood of joining this party, but more than half of Republicans say they're willing to let go of the Republicans and become the Trump burrs, the MAGA party, the weird cult that never gains any political power, because let's be honest, that's what we're actually talking about here. When you have a political party that is so fractured that half of the party right now is already actually more than half is willing to say, yep, we're going with this guy. That shows you multiple things. The first one is that the Republican Party does not obviously meet the needs of its constituents. That's actually terrifying because the needs of its constituents are far crazier than the Republican Party is willing to go. This shows that people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump himself and Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz, they're not the fringe of the party, folks. They're the majority. They may not be the majority in Congress, but this poll tells us that they're probably the majority of people out there, or at least half of them, unless the random sampling of this poll just happened to get hardcore Trumpists. We're looking at a real problem here because this is terrifying. It is terrifying to think that 64% of the public would rather go and follow Donald Trump, drink his Kool-Aid, than remain Republicans. Look, I know Republicans are horrible, but Jesus Christ, you'd rather go with Trump than that. That's a terrifying thought. So we do not have two functioning political parties in this country anymore. We have one functioning party, and we have another party that is literally tearing itself apart because it doesn't want to go full-blown crazy. It just wants to stay evil. Because that's what the Republican Party is now. It's just pure evil. Making sure that not only do they give corporations everything they want, but also actively attempting to hold down the rest of us. That's evil. That's what they are, and that's what they have been for decades. But then you have the crazy folks, the ones who say that there's Jewish space lasers starting California wildfires, or the latest conspiracy from the Q folks is that Donald Trump is still somehow secretly the president, and he is openly executing people on the White House lawn. NBC News reported that is the newest Q conspiracy theory. And that's what the Republican Party is morphing into. That's what most Republican voters say, yeah, I kind of want to go there. Trust me, you don't want to go there. Because if you do, what you're doing is killing your own party. Because that's the other point to make about this. If 64% of Republicans leave, then you're left with a political party that only has 36% of what it had. You've got a new political party that only has 64% of what they had over here. Neither of them has enough power or authority to effectively run campaigns, therefore handing the future of the country over to the Democratic Party that unfortunately is lurching further and further to the right instead of moving left. This doesn't end well for anyone, but it especially doesn't end well for the Republican Party. If they want to break off and start their own party, fantastic. But in order for that to actually be a viable alternative, the Democrats would need to do the same thing, and I don't know that I'm opposed to that. We need a multi-party system here in the United States. But until we get that, we're going to be stuck with the two-party stranglehold. So at the very least, we need both parties to kind of function. And we don't even have that. We have a two-party system and only one party that's actually functioning at the moment. That's kind of screwy, and we're kind of screwed.